I can't stop thinking about how my husband says he sees two of me. It's 2 a.m. and my baby is asleep on my lap. Her breath so shallow and sweet that I'm afraid to move. And I find myself thinking about how my husband says he sees two of me. I've been thinking a lot about the other one lately, the other one of me. Maybe it's the sleep deprivations. Everyone warns you about those first few months or years with a baby. The constant wakings and night feedings and rocking them to sleep. Here I am, afraid to move, afraid to blink, afraid to breathe. If it wakes her, we start all over again. The nursing, the singing, the counting backward in my head from 100 to make sure she's really asleep so I can stop rocking. My eyes have become accustomed to the variations of black that fill her nursery, formerly my studio. Oh, how I miss my studio. I can see her tiny hand as if light comes from inside her, her eyelashes on her cheek, my whole world here in my lap. It wasn't so long ago she was inside me, the same person under a thin layer of skin, all sharp elbows and knife knees. She's my whole world. And what did my world used to be? I had a life that wasn't her, but now there's no room for it. It's been shoved in a closet and is buried under burp clothes and bad toys. Earlier I saw something in the corner, a slither of movement, but when I looked harder, I realized it's a sleep sack hanging on the back of the closet door. I've been doing that a lot lately, seeing something out of the corner of my eye and then realizing it's nothing, even in daylight. And in the middle of the night when I can't sleep, I've started thinking about how Rick says there are two of me. The first time it happened was several years ago. We were on vacation and he just told me he loved me. My husband wasn't even my boyfriend yet. Just a man I wanted to know in every way you can know someone. A month prior, when I was out of town on a job, we met on an app and had a beer and then realized we worked for the same company. It felt both foolish and fateful. The fact that Rick and I worked together gave the situationship a sexy, secretive beginning that made every look feel forbidden and every stolen kiss explosive. After a month, I returned home and we realized we missed each other. We decided to meet up in Hawaii for a week, an idea that my women friends found irresponsible if not fully unhinged. I was already falling in love with Rick, so the pineapple coffee air of Maui, the body temperature ocean water, the bottomless Mai Tais sent me plummeting over the cliff. I felt safe with Rick, sweetly calm and confident in us, sloppily happy. The sex was fantastic. Everything was smooth, smelling of sunscreen and shave ice. We were staying in a small house a couple of blocks from the beach. It was on the property of a larger house that was occupied by a couple who cracked tall boys before breakfast and sported matching jack-o'-lantern grills. The first night, I found myself checking under the bed and behind the shower curtain when we came back from a night of fun and sashimi and eager kisses and sunset views. I shoved the deadbolt into place, afraid of our neighbors for no good reason, but forgot my anxiety promptly when Rick came up and moved the hair from my forehead. Little did I know that the threat was not coming from outside. Before I knew it, we fell into bed, clothes forgotten on the tile floor. I don't know what time it was that first night when I woke up. It was pitch black and I had to pee. Rick's deep exhales ruffled the hairs on my neck and made my heart flutter. I could see a strand of moonlight under the bathroom door. I peeled myself out of Rick's warmth and my feet moved across the cold tile. I shut the door behind me, urinated pina colada, wiped and flushed. I stared at my sex hair in the mirror and smiled at myself. I turned off the light and caught movement out of the corner of my eye. Fuck, what is that? It was me in the mirror. I looked different in the dark. I stepped out of the bathroom and slipped toward our bed. That's when I heard it. Movement, frantic scurrying. Rick bumped into the bedside table, fumbling for the lamp. He turned it on and I saw him, sitting up in bed, staring at me in terror. "Where were you?" he asked. "I was in the bathroom." He looked at my side of the bed. His eyes scanned the room, searching for something. A couldn't help but look around too, my eyes straining into the shadows. I couldn't tell if he was truly awake. He looked glassy-eyed and slack-jawed. "What's wrong?" I asked. Part of me wanted to go to him, to put a hand on his back, to comfort him. Part of me wanted to back away, slip into the bathroom, and lock the door. Rick stood up, trying to put a puzzle together when he was clearly missing a few pieces. He said, "I woke up and you were sitting up in bed, smiling at me, like you'd been watching me sleep." He saw the look in my eye. "I'm serious." And then I heard the bathroom door and turned over, and you were coming out of the bathroom. I looked back and you were still there in bed, smiling at me. I actually thought the one you that was coming out of the bathroom was my imagination because you were so real. Right here next to me. I glanced at the spot next to him. No one was there. My laugh had a hollow sound. "You were dreaming." "No, I wasn't." His voice was heavy. "I wasn't." He looked at me, looked through me. "There were two of you." "Then what happened?" I asked. "Nothing." I turned on the light and he trails off, glances around the room once more. I must have been dreaming. I chuckled, this time with more heart. He shook his head, but a smile crept into his beard. He opened his arms and I climbed into his sleepy warmth. We started kissing and the other one of me was quickly forgotten. I just saw it again while I was typing this up. Slight movement out of the corner of my eye, like a shadow passing by outside the window, casting its slippery darkness on the wall over by the bookshelf full of soft toys and tiny shoes. That bookshelf used to hold adult things, odd things, things for the life I had before this tiny creature crawled into the light. I leaned forward, squinting into my milky dark, but the room is empty. The little warm body in my lap is squirming and squeaking softly like air being slowly let out of a balloon. I'm going to attempt the dreaded transfer into the crib and I see if I can get some sleep myself tonight because I haven't been sleeping much and sleep is important. It's only at the middle of the night when I'm nursing a rocking that I think about the other one of me. Or the thing I never told Rick, that he wasn't the first boyfriend to have seen her. If this has happened to anyone else, I would love to hear about it. Sometimes it just feels so lonely here in this rocking chair. A few people saw my first post and gave me some helpful advice. It's daylight, so I'm feeling much more optimistic. Although we had another rough, sleepless night. My baby is asleep in her crib in her room, and I'm in my room in my bed staring at the monitor instead of napping. Sleep when the baby sleeps, they say, as if we have control over anything anymore. Instead of sleeping, I'm going to tell you more about my husband seeing another woman who looks exactly like me in our bedroom. If you don't know what I'm talking about, read my last post. A few months after our Hawaii trip, Rick moved to live with me. We spent the next year eating twice picked potatoes and watching TV. Snuggled in a nest of happiness and uncertainty. We ate too much, we drank too much, we laughed a lot. For the first time in my life, I was becoming codependent. I never saw this life for myself. I was someone who casually dated lousy men and cried to her friends about it over martinis. I was driven, ambitious. I was someone who solved her problems by herself. One night, Rick woke me up by squeezing my arm so hard I knew it was going to leave a bruise. I sat up and yanked my arm away from him. When I looked at him, I knew something was wrong. He was propped up on his elbows, staring into the dark corner, so I stared into the blackness too. I strained my eyes, searching. I probably popped a few blood vessels. The corner was empty. I rubbed my arm and said, "Oh," a little after the fact, as an attempt to break the trance he was in. He looked over at me and back to the corner. He laid back down. Now I was mad. "You hurt me," I said. No reaction. "Why did you grab me so hard?" Now his eyes flicked over to me and he looked like Rick again. He rolled to face me, genuine concern in his eyes. "What?" "You grabbed my arm, it really hurt. Why did you do that?" He thought about it for a second, then replied, "I needed to know which one of you was real." And he rolled away from me. My body felt like ice. His words left me chilled to the bone. He went back to sleep easily, but I didn't sleep again that night. In the morning, I had to tell him what had happened. He had no memory of it. He was deeply apologetic, rubbing my arm where he'd grabbed me, apologizing again and again. And something about his sad desperation reminded me of Greg, and I felt the hairs on the back of my neck rise up. Rick wasn't the first man to see someone who looked just like me. I thought I'd met the love of my life in college. Greg was weird and funny and taught me that it wasn't normal for my high school boyfriend to have slept with my best friends. I was more in love than I'd ever been, but I couldn't picture us together forever. I'm sure he could feel that I was always looking over his shoulder. When he broke up with me, I was shocked. I begged to get back together, and when that didn't work, I moved to Germany. When he visited me, I was dating a tall, careless German, and that worked. Greg wanted me again. All of a sudden, I was afraid. I could see my future shrinking. I felt like I was trapped in an elevator. I didn't want him anymore. That night we went to bed angry and drunk on German beer, our backs curved towards each other on a mattress on the floor. When I woke up, Greg was crying. He said that in the night he had heard me chuckling and sat up to find me standing at the foot of the bed, laughing down at him. He said it looked exactly like me, except maybe a little taller and kind of hunched, leaning forward at a strange angle. He said I was laughing with a big smile on my face, laughing at him. He said he felt a shift in the bed and turned to find me asleep on the pillow next to him. His heart stopped. He looked back to the foot of the bed, but he said she was leaving out the door to the hall, still laughing. He said he really believed it was me, even if it wasn't the physical me. He said it felt like I was enjoying his pain. I was annoyed and said I was sleeping. He said I was laughing. He said he knew it wasn't me, but it was me. I was both. It felt like he was accusing me of something but couldn't say what. We tried a few more times to make things work, but the hole was there, filled with my laughter. At the time, I thought it was kind of funny. But now that it's happening again, I'm not laughing. And last night, it was worse, way worse. But I'm not ready to talk about that yet. I just checked the baby monitor. She's sleeping on her back, sprawled out like a starfish. Something irresistible about her even when she's asleep. Belly rising, her cheeks, no cares in the world. Okay, things have definitely escalated around her. A couple nights ago, I heard a voice and I opened my eyes. I was in bed. Rick's warm back heavy against my side. For a moment, my heart felt like it would explode. You know that feeling when you know something is wrong, but you haven't figured out what yet. The clock said 3 a.m. and I had put my milk-fat baby down an hour ago, and I hadn't really managed to fall asleep yet. Eyes closed, thinking about the past, about the future I imagined and the future I'm living, which is rapidly becoming my past. I heard the voice again, coming from down the hall, and I reached for the monitor. Sweet girl usually screams when she's hungry. This sounded more like water gurgling down the drain. On the monitor, my daughter was on her side, eyes wide open, smiling at something, babbling. I blinked twice. She's only 3 months old. She reached one dirty fist toward the crib railing as if she desperately wanted to touch something just off camera. All of a sudden, Rick wakes up, lurches forward, staring into the corner. I look into the dark corner but nothing is there, although it's very dark. He turns slowly to face me, mouth hanging open. He looks very, very scared, which fills me with dread. His eyes find mine. Why do you say that? His voice is accusatory, less of a question than a statement. Say what? I didn't say anything. Why am I defending myself? You said we're in the wrong house. That's fucking scary. Don't say shit like that. He doesn't look threatening. He seems truly afraid and it breaks my heart a little. Baby, you're sleeping. I reach out but he rolls away from me, either still asleep or asleep again, snoring within seconds. I'm so envious of his ability to sleep like a baby. Although I question the validity of that expression. I can never fall asleep between feedings. So I rot. I hear my sweet baby girl laugh again on the monitor.
I must be going crazy, and I look at the screen. She's not in her crib. She's not in her crib. Something that sounds like static on the monitor, a voice, a deeper voice, my voice, and I'm out of bed and walking towards her room. Hand out in the dark as I take the well-rehearsed turns around sharp corners I've memorized on the hundreds of sleepless nights before, now to prepare for the hundreds of sleepless nights ahead of me. My hand pushes the nursery door in and I swear out of the side of my eye I see a shadow slip behind the bookcase, behind the wooden blocks and the hand-me-down dowels, where my plants and art and books used to live. And storage now. I look in the crib and I see her. There she is, right where she should be, in her crib. Maybe it was a glitch on the monitor. I must have seen something wrong. But wait, Janie is face down? She shouldn't be face down. Why is she face down like that, not moving? I know I put her down on her back. Is she breathing? I reached for her, terrified. I grabbed her too hard, and then she started crying. Thank goodness. She's my sweet baby. She's everything. She was breathing. I unclipped my top, settled into the chair in the corner, helped her find what she wants, forgetting my own wants, rocking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. She always nurses easily and immediately, but that night she kept twisting away from me in my arms, surprisingly strong. She turned her head to the side, staring into the corner by the shelf. Staring, staring, staring. My nipple cold and forgotten. Mama, her first word. And it's for a shadow in a dark, empty corner. But she can't talk. She's only 3 months old. Are we in the wrong house? I held her all night, her fast asleep in my arms. I must have imagined that sweet little word. I need to call my sister. She'll know what to do.